This video is brought to you by America First Insight. Help support the growing conservative movement by becoming a member today. And if you want to support this channel, you can also use the code REAL when becoming a member. Thank you and enjoy the video. The Democrat Party right now is in a complete panic, as states like Texas, Ohio, Missouri, these very Republican states, they are preparing to redraw their maps before 2026, which in turn would give Republicans a huge boost and potentially help keep their majority for 2026. And that's why a bunch of Democrats across the board, they're panicking, and that's because if Republicans go through with this, they're going to not only have a good pathway in 2026 to keep in the majority, they would probably expand it. And that's why Democrats are realizing that we got to do something quickly, because if we don't, it's over. 2026, more than likely, unless something crazy happens, Republicans expand their House majority, giving Trump even more power. And that's why you have Democrats like Kathy Hochul of New York, Gavin Newsom of California. They're all talking a big game. We're going to stop the Orange Man. We're going to redraw our maps, and we're going to take back the House in 2026. In fact, some are just saying, yeah, we're going to rig the maps. That's been their messaging the last couple of weeks, and a lot of Democrats, they were celebrating this as a big victory. Well, it turns out this may already be backfiring, as some Democrats, they're realizing they have a big problem with redistricting, but also this messaging has been so bad that we have just gotten some brand new polling numbers from YouGov, not a far-right news source. This is YouGov, a fairly Democrat-leaning pollster, and they found that a majority of people in America oppose what Democrats are proposing. They asked if Texas redraws its districts and give Republicans an advantage in the House, would you support other states redrawing its districts to favor Democrats? And only 24% of people said, yeah, we want Democrats to redraw the maps if Republicans do the same. But 51% oppose it. A clear majority. You see the problem here for Dems? Already, their messaging might be backfiring. Because the problem with Democrats is they were claiming for years that, oh, the Republican Party, they have rigged the maps so much, they're racist, they hate people, and now they're gerrymandering even more. Well, who cares? You've been saying for years the maps in Texas, in Ohio, Missouri, they were always rigged for years now. Why would that suddenly change? The average voter is going to say, okay, the maps are already rigged in Texas. Who cares? The Democrats, meanwhile, they made this a huge part of their platform in saying, we want fair maps across the board. That was a huge part of their platform for decades. Don't let them fool you, it was. But now you have Kathy Hochul saying, Republicans are rewriting the rules to give themselves an advantage. The gloves are off, bring it on. This is a real tweet, and you wonder why we're seeing polls like this. Because the average person, they don't like what Democrats are saying. Republicans, they don't bullshit people. They don't pretend to say, we want fair maps. Yeah, we're fighting for democracy. Democrats for decades were telling people they were the party of democracy. They want fair maps. But now you have Democrats saying, screw the Voting Rights Act. That's what they said. You have Ruben Gallego going around saying, yeah, the Voting Rights Act is awful. Let's crack it open. Let's draw even more Democrat seats. They never cared about fair maps or giving minorities representation. They don't care. They just want power. That's the Democrat Party. And it might be blowing up in their faces already. But just a quick reminder, Kathy Hochul back in 2023 made a big push to redraw the maps in New York because they got clobbered in 2022. And they did redraw the maps. Now, it wasn't a Democrat, huge gerrymander, but still, they redrew the maps to give them extra House seats in 23. So what the hell are you talking about? You're the one that pushed this. you were the ones in New York that redrew the maps in 23, made this big push to make them fair. Even though the maps in New York in 22 were objectively much more fair than your own proposal. So yeah, that's a Democrat Party right now. It's a joke. I don't get what they're trying to accomplish here. They're losing voters on redistricting. This was a huge part of their platform. And that's why I'm saying this will blow up in their face one way or the other. Because now people are realizing that, oh, wait a minute, this party is full of shit. They are realizing they never cared about fair maps, never cared about anything like that. They're saying, no, the Democrat Party, they're full of crap. I mean, this is YouGov saying this. They're saying, yeah, a majority of people are saying we are against the idea of states like California, New York, Illinois, from redrawing their maps in response to what Texas is doing. I find that hilarious, by the way. Oh, the Democrat messaging has been so bad that now they are losing this issue. How do you even accomplish that? Just 2 weeks ago, you had Republicans saying, yeah, we're going to redraw the maps in Texas, Ohio, in Indiana. But guess what? They never lie to people and say, oh, this is about saving democracy, like Democrats did for decades. So yeah, the messaging right now might already be backfiring. But I want to talk about what can they actually do with redistricting? Because a lot of Democrats are in copium. They're claiming we're going to take back the House by a 70-seat majority. We're going to redraw every state. Well, let's look at the current House map, okay? Let's start with California. Now, they're trying to make a big push for this state. They're going to try to redraw the map, which legally they may not be able to. But either way, let's assume they redraw the map. Now, some Democrats are hoping for 52-0. That means not a single Republican district. Already this map is super gerrymandered, but now they're saying, yeah, we want Republicans to have 0 districts. Which already, I think that would backfire even more. Because at least in Texas, Republicans are giving Democrats like 5 or 6 House seats or whatever it is. In California, they're saying, nah, we're going to give you nothing. Now, that's just one proposal, but it sounds like Gavin Newsom, he wants to do that. Which there's big questions as to, would that even pass in a vote in California? Would that even be legal? Who knows? But let's just assume they do get this map. Let's assume it's 52-0. What's stopping the map from backfiring in 10 years? Because a lot of parts of California are trending significantly to the right. Just look at voter registration. I know it's not everything, but still, this could backfire badly. I mean, you could talk about a dummy mander. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but still, that's the first problem. In California, they would be much smarter in trying to get 4 seats Republican, everything else Democrat, which would be a 5-seat gain, basically counteracting Texas, which I think that's what they're going to most likely do. I would think they would realize, oh wait, getting rid of every Republican would not only be an optics disaster, it would probably backfire in 10 years anyways. So, yeah, let's not do that. Okay, California is just one state. Well, let's look at other Democrat states, and you will realize something already. New Mexico, already Democrat gerrymander. They can't gain much more. They can't actually gain anything. They can't gain anything at all in New Mexico. Connecticut, already a very gerrymandered state. They can't gain shit. Rhode Island, same deal. Even Massachusetts, which I know a very Democrat state, but still, it's a state that if you drew the maps fairly, you could get a seat that Republicans do win. So all these northeastern states, they can't gain shit. They can't gain anything anywhere. And even New York, there are some doubts as to what can they really do. I know Kathy Hochul is saying we're going to change the rules, but legally they may be screwed. They may not be allowed to change the law whatsoever. And on top of that, they're kind of already maxed out in many areas. And who knows? Just like California, if you push your luck even further, a lot of these districts could flip Republican down the line. New York is shifting heavy to the right. So yeah, you might gain 1 or 2, maybe 3 more House seats here, maybe. But do you really want to risk it? And let's go to New Jersey. Very gerrymandered state. You can't gain much more here either. Maryland, maybe you try to split off Andy Harris's seat, the Republican district, maybe. But I don't know. Virginia, that's not going to happen. They have a Republican governor. They can't redraw the maps at all. So, outside of California and maybe New York in a best case scenario, what do they got? They can't gain anything in Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts. They can't gain much in New Jersey or Maryland. Maybe they try Illinois. But again, this map is becoming notorious for how bad it is. You might gain 1 more if you're lucky, but outside that, what do you got? What do you got that would help you retake the House in 26? Because there are states like Colorado, Minnesota, Oregon, Washington, you either legally can't change the maps, or in Minnesota's case, I believe Republicans have the state legislature, or at least one of the chambers. So let's just say Democrats, they gain, let's just say 12 House seats from California, Illinois, and New York, or something like that. Because I don't see them gaining anything else in Oregon or Washington or anything else like that. So let's just say that's what happens. They gain 12 House seats. Well, Texas alone, you lose 5 there. So you're up to 7, a net gain of 7. But that's not talking about what could be the biggest change for 2026. There's a good chance the Voting Rights Act, at least Section 2, might be overturned. And for those that live under a rock, Section 2 is the reason we have these bullshit maps in Louisiana. This hideous House 6 map. This right here, this district, is a VRA protected seat. And it's garbage, it's hideous, but that's what the court said. They said, oh, we have to redraw the maps and make it this way, which effectively means these are Democrat seats for free. Well, do the math. If VRA is overturned, you could gain 2 in Louisiana, you gain 1 in Mississippi, you can do this very easily, 2 in Alabama, maybe 1 more in Georgia, 1 in South Carolina, and that alone, what is that? That's like 7 seats? So just Texas in the South, without including Florida, you could counteract all the redistricting efforts for Democrats across the board that they legally can do. Because other states like Colorado, they really can't. But now factor in Tennessee maybe, factor in Florida, Ohio, Indiana, Missouri. These states, you can gain 5, 6, 7, maybe 8 House seats. So with that factored in, assuming that the VRA is overturned, at least Section 2, you're talking about a net gain for the GOP of like 8 seats. And that's assuming they can actually redraw the maps in New York, Illinois, and whatever, in California. It might be closer to like 10 to 15. Do you see the problem here? Already, they're getting killed with messaging. But on top of that, even if this happens, they redraw the map in California, Republicans still would have a substantial gain in the House, just with redistricting. Yeah, it's not looking good for Democrats whatsoever. Maybe even Kentucky could pull something. I don't know if they can, but you get the example. You get the point. Democrats are losing a lot of ground with redistricting, and that's why they are panicking. I have no clue how this is going to turn out, but Democrats are in trouble. Their messaging is awful. They're getting killed on that issue now, and the maps that are potentially, I'm not saying it's a guarantee, but potentially could be redrawn, could actually give Republicans a huge boost, a net boost of like 8 to 10 seats, bare minimum. That's a big deal. But anyways, folks, thank you so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, and of course, join the channel today. Godspeed to all of you.